Perhaps you had better start from the beginning. Perhaps you had better start from the beginning. Perhaps you had better start from the beginning.
Hey there, this is LB with Bonus Bits. Today I'll be going over part 3 of 3 of migrating ServerSpec to InSpec. We'll be converting InSpec local tests to remote shared tests. We'll be using the code from part 2, which I have saved on a GitHub branch 02_inspec_local. My local environment will be Mac OS with Chef Docker, Kitchen Docker Gem, Amazon Linux container, and I'll be using JetBrains RubyMine as my IDE. The task we're going to do for the shared inspect is create a new GitHub repo, clone it, copy the inspect code from the cookbook into the new project, create an inspect YAML and the other various standard Ruby configuration files, and run rubocop, make sure it passes, and then commit it to GitHub, which will trigger CircleCI to run and basically do a rubocop on it. On the cookbook side of things, we're going to remove the inspect tests after we've copied them over to the new repo, add a key value for a verifier under the test suite in the kitchen YAML to point to the GitHub URL for our new inspect shared repo, and then run foodcritic rubocop and inspect locally, commit, and then watch CircleCI run all of the tests. Okay, let's get started and go ahead and create a GitHub repo called example shared inspect. Then we'll clone down the GitHub repo locally. Then we'll copy the folder named inspect under test integration default and our cookbook project to the root of our new project. And we'll go ahead and rename it to controls. And then copy over a gem file, rake file, CircleCI, .gitignore from the cookbook over into this project. Then we can strip down the gem file to only have rake and rubocop gem, and strip down the rake file to only have the rubocop task in it. Since our shared inspect project only needs rubocop, we don't necessarily need an entire VM spun up and install Ruby and rubocop. We can take advantage of CircleCI 2.0's native Docker support and just call an image. In this case, I picked Chef that has both of those on it to just quickly do the test, and it's a lot faster than waiting for an entire VM to spin up. Here you can see the two CircleCI configs side by side. The one on the right is the cookbook, and you can see it's machine build true. And on the left, you just call out a Docker image. Part of the requirement of creating an InSpec profile is to create an inspec.yaml configuration in the root. This basically has the name, title, maintainer, copyright, license, version, and what operating systems it supports. Already ran rubocop locally and it passed, and now go ahead and commit the new project to GitHub. The GitHub commit triggered CircleCI to run its test, which basically using the Chef Docker image to run rubocop. You can see the badge changed to passing. Now that we've got our new project out there and available from GitHub, we need to go ahead and start converting our cookbook to use it instead. So the first thing we're going to do is delete the local tests in the cookbook. Then we're going to go into the kitchen YAML config and add in the test suite at the root level, add a key verifier, and then inspect tests key with array as value. You can add multiple. We're going to just put the one that we just created. Doesn't have to match the name that's in the actual inspect YAML. So you give it a name and then the git URL. A note about the inspect test section is it's an array, and that means you can have multiple tests and you can mix and match from local to remote. In this case, we're just doing the one remote. But you can have tests that are in the cookbook and then also point to other tests that are external, or if you want to test out the InSpec profile that you're creating locally before you push it, you could do that easily. In this example, you can see that I'm calling 3 different inspect test suites, one being remote Bootstrap, another one being a remote base cookbook, and then the last one being the local InSpec profile that's specific to that cookbook. And that's really all there is to it. So now we can run The InSpec test locally, I'm going to run it with the rake file within RubyMine. There you go, they passed. You'll notice a couple new lines over doing the local inspect. It's pulling information out of the inspect YAML that's in the shared inspect. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like doing it from command line using the kitchen test or kitchen verify. And there we go, passed with flying colors. Now we can commit our cookbook, which will trigger Circle CI and watch its integration test run. And there we go. 0 failures, 6 tests passed. And it's as simple as that. We've taken the local inspect tests that we created in part 2 and put them out in their own repo and can call it from our cookbook, or the main point is we can call it from multiple cookbooks. Like if you had an InSpec profile that was for your security, you could point all your cookbooks at that one profile. Just like I did with the other parts, I cut a branch with this work that you can use as reference, 03_inspect_remote. The master branch is the same code. It just has some differences in the README with more information. Plus, I have written instructions on my BonusBits website that you can find at this URL. And you can find more information about InSpec profiles on their website. If I have time, I'm planning to make another video that's like an advanced InSpec profile. This was like the simple version, so it's easy to get out there and get rolling with it, but there's more syntax you can wrap around it, actual controls with impacts, titles. You can write helpers, you can use arguments and stuff like that, but I just want to try and get to the point on how to get to a functioning phase to have the shared inspect, and then you can evolve it from there. I hope you found this video and possibly this series helpful at learning how to migrate from ServerSpec to InSpec. You can help me out by liking the video or subscribing to the channel, and good luck with your project.